to The Truth in This Art. I am your host, Rob Lee, and today I am interviewing the culinary director of Pizza University and Culinary Arts Center. Please welcome Chef Sedrick Crawley. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's glad to be here.
So, like I said before we got started, I love saying Pizza U, so that's great. And I want to get the folks dipped because a lot of people think I'm making this up when I say I'm going to interview, someone representing Pizza U. Tell us about your role, your background, and the mission of Pizza University and the Culinary Arts Center.
A little background about Chef Sed. I've been in the business for about, I'll say probably 25 years now.
Wow.
And what I have done was be able to experience a lot of culinary adventures. I work with people like Martha Stewart, Wolfgang Puck, Guy Fieri, Carla Hall, just to name a few.
Yeah.
And worked in some great restaurants and just always love creating what we call culinary or food because it's just, there's no rules involved. You can do whatever you like as long as it's done well. So I had a chance to jump into another facet of the business, which was pizza, something I've never done except at the last place I worked where we had a little pizza stand, nothing professional, just, kind of makeshift. But coming here, I learned how pizza is phenomenally important to a whole segment that we underutilized in the culinary world. It ranges from flours to yeast to sauce to different toppings. And this was just kind of a time for me to celebrate or enjoy culinary from a whole new point of view. And it was just something that I just was like, wow, I get a chance to learn all over again. The fundamentals of not knowing anything and being scared to do something. I haven't felt that in culinary in a while because, 25 years, you can say, okay, I know how to make an omelet or two.
Right.
But with pizza, it's just, taking it day by day and learning from some of the best pizziolas in the world. And Pizza University here in Beltsville, they have what it takes. They have the relationships, the know-how, and, the institution. If you get a chance to come see, the site, I'll give you the tour. You'll be like, whoa, what's going on here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to become a chef, and what is important to you as a chef? And maybe even, if you will, fill in a little bit of your background on training and things of that nature.
I'm classically French trained. I didn't set out to become a chef. That's something that you have to be given the title of.
Sure.
I basically started out as a cook, and I just enjoyed what I did. It was fun, and I was passionate about it. I worked when I wasn't getting paid, and just putting in man hours and studying my craft and learning when I didn't have to learn, and just being extra, because that's what it's about for you to become exceptional, is being extraordinary.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm classically French trained. I went to an institution for about a year plus to get good knowledge from teachers that were classically trained and just knew what they were doing. I always knew how to cook or put food together since I was 9. So I've always kind of just had this passion of getting in the kitchen and emulating what I saw my mother and grandmother do. My first meal cook was at 9 years old for my mother. When she was coming home from a trip, I made her, if I can remember, let's see, I think it was a pork chop, some green beans, and I think maybe a glass of Kool-Aid.
It's a good pairing. That's a good pairing right there.
I felt accomplished, right? At 9 years old, yeah. So, you fast forward to today, I've cooked with President Obama, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And got to work among some chefs that are, world recognized. And, I've always just enjoyed doing what I do. And I have a chance to give back. We do a show every year in DC called Metro Cooking,
yeah,
Convention Center. and we have culinary students to come and give us a hand. And it's just good to see youth in this business and give them tips that you had to learn the hard way. And some of them reach out to me from time to time via email. And, it's just a good feeling to have that. I'm able to be that guy now that years ago, I looked up to people that were me, and asked them questions and say, how do I do this and how do I do that? So, like I said, I'm just glad to be here.
It's great. I've read that you went from perfecting greasy plates to plating foie gras, and I know I mispronounced that. Perfectly.
We just call it foie. You can just say foie. Yeah, there you go.
I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about soon. Right. So how did that transition come about? Because like people think like sometimes like people don't look at food as food sometimes, and like, oh well, this is inaccessible, or someone with these skills should not be able to work with foie for sake of argument. Mm-hmm. So tell me how that transition came about.
I would say it probably was because of passion. Coming up, working at McDonald's, Roy Rogers, Friendly's, making fast food, and generally moving on to plating meals with tweezers and using precision and exact measurements. Learn the metric system. That's why I like to title it From Fast Food to Fine Dining, because it's basically what I did. And the lesson in there is not to forget anything that's in between those two parallels, because there's a lot of knowledge and strength and just wisdom between those 2 points. From fast food, you learn about how food is fun, how it tastes good at a certain point, how it's perishable, how it's treated. Yeah. From fine dining, you learn how it's highly rated. It's very competitive. And, living in between the sweet spot, you'll never get burnt out. So I always have a place I can go to in my culinary history where I can say, all right, I remember I used to do this, or I remember I used to do that. And it just keeps me moving, being able to grow. So that's where that term came from, from plating greasy food to foie, because that's what it's done. In culinary school, you learn about foie, you learn the process, how it's made and different things of that nature. But when you actually work with it, it's like, wow, okay. Right. This is the game now. This is it. So, I felt accomplished. I felt good. But that was years ago. That was probably 10 years ago now. So, it's been a lot of other things I've been able to do outside of that. But it all started from that, one day we flipped the burgers. And I one other thing I'll say, so, with fast food, it's also about creativity, which you could take over to the fine dining world. Years ago, we worked at McDonald's and we'd be making up crazy sandwiches and, like put this on there, like what this gonna taste like, drop it in there. But it's all fun in the kitchen. And you do the same thing at the Waldorf Astoria. At the tavern, you have fun in the kitchen, you come up with something that tastes great. And people just say, wow, how did you do this? Because, you take those principles and just use them and just apply them to something different. But hopefully I answered your question.
No, you absolutely did. And I don't know if this came through in any of the questions I sent over to you or may come through later in this interview, but I am a food nerd. So, it's a thing. It's like, I love talking to chefs and people who are out there and they just have a knowledge and love and passion around cooking and around food, because I do. And it's like, I can lightweight steal some gems from y'all. So, just be on the lookout.
Okay.
This helps me because I actually had pizza last night, and it's one of those things. So, what makes pizza legit in terms of this? Like, what's the most important trait in terms of a good pizza, and what is something that's like overrated, like people pay too much attention to? Because sometimes it's that buyer beware thing. You don't want to get something where the ratio is off. It's like too much toppings, too much cheese, not the right cheese, crust is not on point. What are those kind of traits you're looking for, and what you're ultimately teaching at the PZU?
So the start point is always the dough.
Yeah.
Always the flour, what you're using. The flour constitutes what style of pizza you're making. But just to keep it simple in layman's terms, it all starts with the dough. So if my dough is store-bought, I'm going to have a, inferior product, just to keep it honest. If I took time to temp my water, scale my ingredients, mix it for a certain amount of time without friction being too hot, let my dough rest, weighing it out in the 240-gram dough balls, letting it ferment or bulk ferment overnight in refrigeration. Yeah. And then coming to the day I'm going to use it, let it come to room temp for about 45 minutes. That's going to be an outstanding or superior product, no matter what you put on top of it, because you created that. Yeah. So it's just like making, the perfect meatball for mom. If she took her ground beef and a little bit of, chorizo or whatever she might want to put in it and built that with her hands and her passion, there's no way that's not going to be delicious because she put her skill set into that product. It's the same thing with pizza dough. What's overrated, I would probably say, would be the toppings. Especially Americans are very specific or just crazy. They're very topping heavy. Uh-huh. We're in a business where we have pizza without any toppings, and it's just an excellent sauce with a little bit of garlic. That's the margarita pizza. Fantastic. A lot of people don't know about that. Pineapple on pizza is something that I would never do. If I was to do that here, it'd be my last day. It'd be like giving my 2-week notice. Like, okay, we appreciate you, but we gotta let you go. Because pineapple and pizza, no, it just doesn't work.
It seems like you're right in the head.
Right.
I got a question related to that later in rapid fire.
Okay, great. But that's if we can make our dough, and it's simple, it's easy. Yeah. It's just creating flour, water, yeast, salt. Done. It's not like you got to debone a fish or break down a chicken. It's very simple. And if you can learn how to treat that, then the next step will be how to cook it. Most people think pizza needs to take about, 30 minutes. I mean, I'm doing pizzas 12-inch, 15-inch in 90 seconds in a brick oven. I'm done, fully charred and everything. Texture, beautiful. So we use high heat to give us what we want. And, maybe next time we can do a demo to see how that works. If you want to come through, like I said, the Pizza U. Yeah. But, that's what I would say is the dough is something that needs to be on point, and what's overrated are the toppings, most definitely.
I agree with that. And I speak in a very novice way, but I'm very confident in what I say in this, is that I think when you go OD with the toppings, you're hiding something that's inferior, which might be the crust, might be the sauce, sure. It might be the method in which you did it. And I think people have misconstrued pizza as being a fast food per se, in that, like, you can do it quickly, as you said, in that big oven, 90 seconds. But I think the application of the quality ingredients, the practice, the prep part of it, people are really paying attention to. They're not putting all of that work and all of that love and energy into getting that crust right. It's something that's mass produced.
Most definitely, yeah, it is.
So I read that Pizza U, which is, again, great to say, works towards the development of high quality and committed to the new generation of culinary professionals. What are the traits you see for the next generation to be like super successful? Like, what's that go-to one? You're working with someone, you're working with maybe a student or someone that's going to Pizza U, and it's like, all right, you may not have any, like you may not be the best person here cooking something, but at least you have passion and desire, you want to learn. What are those traits that you look for, and who's going to be the next like great chef or great culinary professional?
For me, and it was not something that I possessed until I learned from one of my sous chefs, who I used to hate until I learned why he was treating me how he was. Attention to detail. Mm-hmm. That's the number one key in this business. You could not know how to cook, but if your attention to detail is on point, you'll be able to make it in a kitchen. Because like they say, the devil is in the details. If you miss the fact that some flour that you're using is expired and you're using that product, that's a detail. If the cheese you're using, shelf date has expired, the sauce you're using, some of the tools that you want to use aren't clean or sanitized, details. Those are the things which make a chef, which, means chief, stand out from the rest of the pack. So if I'm teaching and I have someone who's a little eager and asking questions, the class will look on like, oh, they're going to be great. If I have someone that says, well, chef, I noticed that, in the last batch, you put 2 tablespoons of salt, but in this one, you only put 1. Why is that? Okay, you're paying attention. Your eyes are open. There's a difference in the recipe. Why is that? Those are the details that people need to check. So that's what I would say counts or makes a difference as trying to be that chef. We're all still learning in this business.
Yeah.
It's not just about cookery, especially at this level. You have teams to do that, but you need to have your team well organized and be able to read what you anticipate what you want. And that's another big thing in the kitchen is anticipation. So if I'm working with my chef and, we're doing this and this, and, I see he's about to go reach for that and I get the tool he wants and I give it to him, come on, you're batting 1,000. Those are the things that's going to help us get to the next level because we don't have to worry about the details because we got the great support, which is a great sous chef. I'm actually in the process of building a sous chef now. It's a very, very interesting process, but I think she's going to be great because she has a good attention to detail. So that's where it all starts for me.
Totally. It's like working in unison with someone. It's that symphony. And you're right. Like, I look at the thing that I do, like I know for me, I'm a big picture person, but I know how to get in the weeds of those kind of like the smaller details. I have that attention, but I know that it takes a different skill set to do both. So someone that I'm choosing to work with is like, be able to look towards the big picture, but I really need you to key in on those smaller details. That helps me be able to lead and provide that strategic direction the way that you were described, like the chief, the chef there.
That's it, yeah.
So in terms of like courses or modalities there at Pizza U, tell me about some of those and what are pizza wars? Give me this rundown.
Well, some of the courses, I'll start with the curriculum first. Some of the courses we offer, we have a class coming up in February called Start Smart. So it's basically pizza fundamentals, how to start your pizza business, how to scale for growth, and of course, pizza recipes all day, the proper technique. Pizza Wars was created by me because, at the end of the day, I'm still, urban guy, and I like to have fun. And, I walk into this beautiful institution, which I call the arena, and I'm like, come on now, what would I do in here with a couple of teams that were ready to really get in there and make it happen? Pizza Wars was born. So we had a couple of them, and this is where we task individuals to come in and, learn a brief history of pizza, some fundamentals, and then we give you the pantry ingredients and equipment, our pie stations, to come in and build your own masterpiece. And at the end of that, that's judged, based off your teamwork, and we evaluate. And it's amazing how you get to see it come to life and actually the things that people build. And that's just how you get new ideas as well. So you just let people go in the kitchen and have fun, of course, keeping everything safe. But there's a snippet out there on our YouTube channel of one of the last ones we did. And it's picking up interest. I could definitely say that. It's picking up some popularity. So I look forward to doing more of that. Then, of course, we have courses with your celebrity chefs like Enzo Cochia. He was just on what we call Taste of Italy with Stanley Tucci. So he'll be here in March teaching a class. And when I say he's a pizza celebrity, a historian from Italy, from Naples, just, this guy is what it's all about. So just to be in a class and be able to soak that knowledge up and appreciate him, it gets no better. And then I got to shout out my guy, Leo in Chicago. He's my mentor. This guy came in day one and started showing me what to do. And as a chef, I know because I've done it, you're very leery about who you want to show the skills to, who you want to pass the baton to. And he did it without hesitation. And I'm forever grateful and humbled by that. And, these guys, they take their craft seriously. Mm-hmm. They love what they do. And I definitely can appreciate that coming from the culinary side. But I would love to get all of these guys together, all the big dogs, for a pizza war. That's my big dream.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
That would be fantastic.
So I got two more questions before I get into my rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, sure.
So tell me about the brand partnerships. I saw that on the website. So how do those work? And I see some big names on there. So tell me about the brand partnerships.
Since our industry is specific and we have exact ingredients that we need without it fluctuating in quality, we partner with some of the best that do it. General Mills, Caputo, Wasaf, Grande cheese, Bella Giosio cheese. Yeah. That's a hard one. Yeah. A couple of others that escape me right now, but Stanislaus, Orlando Foods. These guys are at the top of their game, producing products that are outstanding, consistent, and quality. And we're fortunate enough to have been able to partner with them to provide us products for our classes, so we can show people that want to become pizza makers or learn about the business, where to start sourcing ingredients. Okay, you want a flour to do a Neapolitan pizza, this is what you want to use. If you're looking for a sauce, something that you can scale that's pre-made for you, this is what you can use. As opposed to just letting them fall by the wayside and kind of figure it out. We've done the work for you. So we've partnered with these people, and they come in and they do lectures, they do product presentations, and we actually had one on, 2 days ago from General Mills. And there were some things I didn't know that I learned, okay, I didn't know why this flour was this, and it's just great support. So, we have our Pizza Expo coming up in March in Las Vegas, which we'll also be working with these partners. I'll probably be about 100,000 people there, easy. So it's a big event. We go as Pizza University and do our thing, as well as the parent company, Mara Forney, who actually make the equipment that we use for all our classes.
Okay, great. So this is the last one I have. I see that Pizza University is a great resource for the community in providing career guidance for veterans and young adults, and as two of the cohorts within it. What sort of employment are graduates getting upon graduation? What are the kind of success stories after Pizza U, and where do you see the future of Pizza U?
Most of our graduates to date have opened their own pizzerias. That's one of the benefits and things that we've seen anywhere from California, Delaware, Detroit, Chicago. These are what we call second career individuals. Mm-hmm. So they come into the game saying, okay, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. I make pizzas in my backyard and I want to scale it. Then they come to us because we're the experienced operators. We're going to show you how to put that passion and ambition together and build your passion package for success. And as far as placing individuals into jobs, if you come and take a 3-day course with us on, Pizza 101, we have job placement where we have relationships with thousands of vendors who we've sourced as far as equipment or pizza ovens or just done trainings. The Compass Group, the Flick Group, we do trainings for those individuals who are in the food service industry or hospitality industry and want to further their knowledge in pizza because, it's about 60,000 pizza places in the U.S. Right. We see that number growing, and there are not enough pizziolas to be able to handle it. Now, if you want to take, a frozen pizza and drop it in a little oven and heat it up, you don't need to come here. But if you want to, get your hands dirty and get a real oven and make some difference out here, you're going to come learn with us. So, our product placement, our placement as far as individuals in the classes and the workforce is definitely warranted.
Wonderful. I love to hear it. As a person that enjoys pizza, I'm trying to get some thought out here locally and having my own signature pizza. We might talk a little bit off mic about that.
Okay.
I got some ideas, got some suggestions.
All right.
So I want to hit you with this real quick. These are my rapid fire questions. I have, I think 4 or 5 of them. And essentially with these rapid fire questions, you don't have to provide any extra context unless you really think it's necessary. Some people have some hot takes. It's like, look, man, here's the thing. I like Star Wars, but here's the thing. Star Trek is fine, and here's why. You can do that if you need to.
Okay.
So here's the first one. And this ties into something you said earlier, so I had to modify it a little bit.
Okay.
So what are some of the oddest toppings that you've heard of on a pizza that you might consider trying? We already heard about your hot take on pineapple. I've seen chicken. I don't really jam with that, and I've even seen pickles on pizza. What is one of those like offbeat toppings that you've heard of that you're like, you know what, I might give that a shot?
Well, this is what I've seen: Nutella and bananas with powdered sugar. It's a dessert pizza. I'm like, what is that? But when I tasted it, I'm like, oh, wow, this actually works. So I would never think of putting that on pizza, but it works.
All right, I'm here for it. Mm-hmm. Now, regional pizzas. So I noticed that's the thing. And I've had this theory that the Midwest has like distinct ones. You have New York style, you have Chicago, you have St. Louis, Detroit. What is your preference in terms of style? I know that you're working with a specific style that relates mostly back to Italy, right? But in terms of the American styles that are here, is there one that really pops for you that you're like, you know what, I really love thin crust?
Low key is called sophisticated style, and that's coming from me. I took the fine dining world and kind of brought it to a pizza. So something I'm working on right now is a smoked white crab pizza with purple fennel, right? See, you don't often see that. So that's what I call it, sophisticated comfort. So, that's just a classic interpretation for me. But for the regular answer, for the layman out there, I would say, I love a New York style pizza. That's probably because I grew up in New Jersey, and that's just, let me get a slice and a soda and I'm good. So I'm kind of used to that,
I heard the accent. I was waiting for it to come out. So I got a couple more. Favorite cooking show, because you've touched on a few of the luminaries of Carla Hall, Emeril Lagasse. What is your favorite cooking show? One that you watched a lot?
The old what they call it, Iron Chef. Not with Americans, but with the actual Japanese.
Oh no, yeah, that was fire.
Because these guys used to just go to town. Like, what is that? A dragon's tongue, and you just made what? Like, I mean, it was just crazy. Like, whoa, And they just did it, knife skills and all. And that was just awesome for me to watch. Like, yo, this is the real thing. Yeah. So that's something I used to watch. I like the American version too, but I like that fast-paced environment. It gives you. It doesn't give you time to think. It puts you under pressure, and that's what a real kitchen is like.
Yeah. I read that one of your favorite chefs is Emeril Lagasse.
Yes.
Do you have a signature catchphrase in the kitchen?
My catchphrase is probably 2. One is fantastic or beautiful, beautiful. Okay. That's the one that I get teased on the most. It's beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
And I was hoping it's like bong, like we were done. I was hoping that. This is the last one I got for you. What are your top 3 like kitchen rules? Something that more so is a gem for someone that really wants to pop up in the kitchen, want to work and succeed in the kitchen. You touched on the attention to detail piece, but one of those like rules to be in your kitchen. What does someone have to come in there with?
Work ethic, most definitely. Want to work and not looking for me to tell you what to do. If I'm busy, I can't really babysit you. You got to say, chef, I'm about to work on this. So come to me with stuff for me to say no, rather for you wait there for me to tell you what to do. They'll be like, yeah, it's a candle that's not lit. I need somebody that's burning, like, chef, I'm about to peel potatoes. Chef, I'm about to clean this walk-in. Chef, I'm about to label these jars because they don't look right. So work ethic is one.
Yeah.
The second would be style. I need somebody that realizes people are looking at them. Chefs are not the guys that hide in the back anymore and just, cook rice or fried chicken. People are looking at us like, what kind of pants he got on? Why his shoes look like that? Or, his jacket's a little dirty. So you come with some style, little swag to you, and he'll be like, you know what? Yeah, he could be on the team. Let's go. The third one, let's see. You have to be coachable. So one thing that I've ran into is sometimes you work with some older individuals who, they worked in a kitchen or two, and, you tell them how to cut onion, like, oh, yeah, I can do that. We are that. Okay, good. You know what? Thanks for coming. I appreciate you. If you work with me, I want you to be my person, not somebody else that you came out of this kitchen and I don't know what's going on over there. This is my house. So I want you to be able to pay attention to what I'm saying and be coachable. If you can handle those three things, come on, man. We can go anywhere together. And I got individuals that, do that. So those are the rules and dues I had to pay. And, for me, if anybody know me, they could tell you it's hard for Sid to keep his mouth shut. But in that game, I learned how to do it. And I'm able to say that now, like, okay, I see why I wanted to do it. And that's why, because I wanted to be here showing other individuals how to do it and, keep the chain moving.
Fantastic. Beautiful. So I want to thank you for being on this podcast. That's all I had. And I want to invite you to tell the fine folks to where to check out Pizza U and maybe get up for a class or something along those lines. Tell the fine folks.
Yeah. So you guys can check out Pizza University at www.pizzauniversity.org. And we're also on YouTube at Pizza University. You can see the different classes we have, the different snippets. You can check out my Instagram page at Chef Said with 2 Ds for a double dose. I occasionally do videos about pizza or just whatever's going on, in the hood at that moment in time, paired up with music that I love. I'm an old head, so I'm a Wu-Tang fan to the death. So, you'll see a lot of pizza videos paired up with some Wu-Tang songs, but just appreciate it and know it's part of the culture.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again, Chef Said, and I'm going to wrap up here. So for Chef Sedrick Crawley from Pizza University and Culinary Arts Center, I am Rob Lee saying that there's art in and around your city. You just got to look for it.